Action News this noon is a winter storm that's packing a powerful punch for the Delaware Valley. The shore is being hit with flooding while freezing temperatures are turning the rain into dangerous ice north and west of Philadelphia. And we begin our coverage this noon at the Jersey Shore, where a coastal flood warning remains in effect at this hour. New Jersey correspondent Kathy Gandolfo is live on the action cam in Longport with the details. Kathy.
Well, Rick, it is a positively awful day here at the Jersey Shore. The storm is producing some very strong winds, at times gusting up to 40, 50 miles per hour. There is a lot of rain and some pretty rough seas. Angry waves came crashing over bulkheads in some areas, like here in Margate. The water spilled into the city streets. The waves are running at 5 to 9 feet. This morning's high tide was about 2 to 3 feet above normal. This caused flooding in some of the usual trouble spots, especially in the Back Bay areas. Portions of the Black and White Horse Pikes in Pleasantville near Atlantic City were closed.
Everything's closed. There's no way possible to get Atlantic City right now.
I've been running around for 45 minutes. The cops, they detour you, but they don't tell you where to go.
The main roads into the Wildwoods were also underwater, as well as 9th Street in Ocean City. And parts of Ocean City's beach are taking a pounding with some severe beach erosion, which will no doubt be a problem at most of the shore points today. Now, we have some reports of some school closings, public school in Sea Isle City and also in Stone Harbor closed today because of flooded conditions in the area. Now, the folks here at the Jersey Shore are used to this kind of weather, not necessarily a major deal. However, those road closings have caused some inconvenience for motorists. And, of course, the rough surf is really taking a bite out of the beaches. Reporting live on the action cam from Ventnor, New Jersey, I'm Kathy Gandolfo.
All right, thank you, Kathy. And for the latest on this storm and what it means for the shore and other areas, let's go outside to Cecily Tynan and AccuWeather. Cecily.
Well, Monica, the shore is definitely getting the hardest hit from the storm, but the entire Delaware Valley really under this miserable weather. The reason why the storm system is just really taking its time. Action radar showing that you can see the way the precipitation is rolling off the ocean. It's spinning, but the storm system just is not lifting away. If we zoom in, you can see where the heavy rain is right now. A band of heavy rain moving into Philadelphia, north of Wilmington, just south of Trenton. Also, Atlantic City getting some of the heavier rain. In addition, the winds have shifted. They were out of the northeast. They've become more northerly. That means it's been pulling down some colder air. Now, at the shore, temperatures are above freezing, but the winds are really gusting up. We have northeasterly winds at 30 to 45 miles per hour, gusting up to 60 miles per hour. So that means the flooding is really because of the winds, not as much because of the heavy rain. A coastal flood warning remains in effect with tides 2 to 3 feet above normal. Now, inland with the northerly flow in the upper atmosphere, some of this rain has been changing over to freezing rain. In Bucks County this morning, this was a scene in Warminster where, yes, there was a glaze on some cars, on fences. Be careful on the secondary roads. Most of the major roads are okay, but taking a look at the winter weather advisories, there are winter weather advisories in effect for Montgomery and Bucks County. The evening commute could be a little tricky in that area, the northern suburbs, especially the secondary roads, the bridges and overpasses. It's a nasty day, and we'll find out when the weather will clear coming up in the AccuWeather 5-day forecast. Rick?
All right, Cecily, thank you.
Inland, backing up Back Bay waters, making the flooding even worse. And back live now, you're taking a live look at the story here in Ocean City. Once again, flooding all over the area. Flooding in the Back Bay areas, up on the beach side, not much better. A lot of erosion reported up and down the shore. This storm is going to cost a lot of money to replace those beaches. A lot of money here to get these cars rolling again. Many of them underwater trying to get through these streets, getting stuck. And it's going to continue here for the rest of the afternoon. That's a story live from Ocean City, and we'll go back to you.
Robin, thanks very much. A real serious problem at the shore. Well, out in the northern and western suburbs, there have been some reports of slick roads. That's due to the wintry mix. News 3's Dick Standish is checking out the driving conditions there. Richard, it doesn't look like it does at the shore.
Afternoon, Pat. Take a look out here right now, 611. Basically wet. That's what you find most places. But let's step over here and see if by any chance we can catch this flag in the wind and show you this. We'll take a very, very close look at the flag. Can you see this thin, sheer ice? That's the danger. As you go, there are places where there might be ice. It has been nasty across our area. Piercing wind, 20 to 30 miles an hour at times out of the northeast, snapped the flags next to a rainy Delsey Drive as people headed to work and school in South Jersey. An umbrella helped you a little against the rain, but it didn't do much good to counter the cold when the wind chill is 7 degrees.
It's really cold out here.
There is ice on the windshields here in Horsham.
The weather's quite miserable. I have back problems and it kills me.
Another man knows all too well how dangerous ice can be.
I was driving in the ice, and I was on a back road going 25, and the cops said that when I hit the tree, they estimated I was going 60 miles an hour. The ice actually made me speed up that fast in about maybe 25 to 50 meters.
And as you go on these roads, you just can't tell where those spots are. Now, as we look ahead through the afternoon, rain at the moment, but we stress to you, day to be careful. That's the story live from the Mobile Mart. 611 North. We'll go back to you in the studio.
Okay, Dick, thank you very much. Be careful. Well, we've seen what it looks like outside. Let's go into the Storm Center and Carol Erickson to find out what we can expect for the rest of the day. Hey, Carol.
Hey, Yuki, you can see by the 2 live reports that we've got 2 separate looking storm systems, one bringing some ice, one bringing heavy rain. Let's take a look at our maps. It really is just one storm system, but depending on the temperature, that's the problem. And you can see that slice of a line that runs through Philadelphia. Well, just on the other side of that line, your precipitation could be frozen. So take it easy out there if you're in western Montgomery or Chester counties, upper Bucks counties. In Allentown, you have a winter weather advisory in effect for freezing rain with sleet. This all should be ending towards the evening hours, but you've got an afternoon to get through, so be careful with that. Now, let's take a look at another radar shot, and this is our immediate area. Notice down along the shore areas, as you saw in Robin's live report, a tremendous amount of rain, the lunar cycle of the moon, all of it contributing, the winds contributing to coastal flood warnings, a high wind warning in effect down there for the New Jersey and Delaware shores. The winds gusting to 60 miles an hour. Tonight, at times of high tide, expect some minor flooding. They should not be as significant as we've had this morning, but if those winds don't back out of there, this water could just stack up on that water. So we certainly have to watch this system because just one band has been staying over us, and that's what's contributing to this problem. We'll be back with the 5-day and how the rest of the day looks in just a bit. We'll go back to you.
An important story to follow. Carol.
This WeatherScope is sponsored by Sunkist, just one sun-kissed orange for 100% of your daily vitamin C.
This is a special edition of WeatherScope.
Well, good afternoon to you. Thanks for joining us here at the Weather Channel. I'm Rich Johnson here in the Forecast Center, and we are covering a rather large mid-Atlantic storm, bit of a nor'easter, but it is making a bit of a curve out to sea. Let me show you what we have with the storm. Currently perched off the Virginia Capes, instead of making the classic swing straight up the coast, which usually pounds New England, this one is going to make more of a curve out to sea. So coastal areas will be brushed, but that is just about it. And this is mostly a rainmaker, for the exception of the Appalachians. In the mountains, it is still snowing quite heavily. Here are the temperatures: 35 in New York, 35 in Philadelphia. This was a very close call to bringing lots of heavy snow to the big cities in the east, but it was a miss this time. A lot of rain. The Appalachians really picked up the snow. The center of the storm now, as it heads offshore, is focusing the fury out toward the coast. Marine warnings out, gale warnings all the way from Eastport down to Edisto Beach, South Carolina. We also have Sandy Hook to Manasquan. We're looking at coastal flood watches out, but south of Manasquan all the way down to Ocracoke Inlet, that is where we have flood warnings in effect, and we are looking at the water piling on up. So a variety of different things going on with the storm. That was out toward the ocean part. We did have some snow farther to the west. Let me cover some of those totals here. Beech Mountain, 40 inches won the prize, if you consider a lot of snow winning the prize. In my opinion, yes, but anyhow, many other locations. This has been a nightmare, and it's been fantastic for the kids being able to play in the snow today, and many schools closed due to all of the snow. Here's the storm center itself out in this area here, with the moisture wrapping in and around from the Atlantic, and we have very gusty winds out along especially the Jersey coast down toward the Maryland and Virginia coastal areas. It is still quite windy out there. Well, join me right now is a fellow Marylander. This is Clay Stamp. He's out at Ocean City, Maryland, Director of Emergency Management. Clay, I've been to Ocean City many times, and I've seen some big waves, but I imagine today it's the waves out there are causing quite a bit of erosion.
Yeah, they sure are, Rich. I'll tell you, we're hanging on. We're looking forward to that storm moving out of here.
What have you seen with coastal flooding in Ocean City itself?
Well, during the early morning hours, we started getting that intense northeast wind, and of course, anytime we get that northeast wind, we get beach erosion. We had the beach replenishment project put out here, the dune restored, and that's done its job, and it has not breached, so the property is not being damaged. However, we're gonna have some beach erosion from this. We closed the gates on our boardwalk to protect the boardwalk property, so the beachfront's in pretty good shape. However, we are having some significant flooding in the lower end of our town.
How much water would you say there is on the streets now?
In the lower end of town that's prone to flooding in the St. Louis Avenue area, we could probably run an outboard motorboat. It's significant, and of course, as longer we have this persistent northeast wind, when our tide normally goes out at a low tide, it doesn't go out, so that the next high tide builds on that. So our concern at this point is our 7:30, 8 o'clock high tide tonight.
All right, thank you, Clay. Again, Clay Stamp, he is with the Emergency Management out at Ocean City, Maryland. And I just wanted to pass along this one point, too. The 9th and 34th Street causeways are not closed. That was some erroneous information that came across the wire here, so I just wanted to clear that up. Latest with our storm, here it is, pulling away from North Carolina as the snow evaporates, but still out to Baltimore, some rain. And this yellow area here, there's good chance that is some sleet. Could be quite heavy coming down, but chances are that is a loft. So by the time it reaches the ground, most of the sleet is over with. Although up toward Trenton, we're seeing a bit of freezing rain. All the way down to Wrightsville area, we're seeing a bit of rain and sleet involved. But right down toward Cape May, another little shot of sleet involved with the snow. Most of it is finally over with after some humongous reports. The skiers will love that, of course. Well, that wraps up the situation here in the Forecast Center. If you're heading away from the television and you have a computer, you can check the rest out at weather.com. Now let's talk to Janetta back in the studio with your forecast.
Thanks, Rich. The West Coast break from precipitation didn't last very long. A new system moving from the Pacific to the Northwest. You know what? Washington and Oregon are seeing the start of the showers already. By tomorrow, you could see the rain into the Los Angeles basin. Let's check it out on our satellite vantage point. As it goes into motion, you can see all of that moisture just ready to pounce right on top of you there in California. As it does move in, conditions are going to deteriorate very, very quickly. And once that cold front moves in, you're going to see colder temperatures behind the front, and so those snow levels are going to drop significantly for the Sierra. We're anticipating quite a lot of mountain snow for folks in the Sierra, so get ready, batten down the hatches. All right, we look at the radar across the northwest, and we can show you some spritzes of rain, not a lot, and that is going to be changing as the front gets closer and closer. We're going to see an increase in precipitation. Rain for Washington State and Oregon, and do anticipate some very windy conditions right here along the coast as well. But into California, the rain has not arrived yet.